go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their Fantasy Pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and this is the NFL edition. And I'm so happy we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tony Bruno on with us tonight. What's up, Tone?
What's going on, fellas? I'm jonesing tonight. No Thursday night football. I feel naked. I mean, even with Al Michaels and the bad games that we had, I'm like sitting here. What am I going to do on a Thursday night? I'm sick, so I'm sitting at home anyway. Now I don't have any action tonight.
Well, the bad news is there's no Thursday night football. The good news is none of us are on the Epstein list, so that's good news for everybody.
Wait a minute. They did mention something about a crazy bird, so there could be a
El
reason
Polo
why
Loco, he's not on the list. He just Philly Rooster couldn't make it tonight. I know you didn't want to talk about our Dallas Cowboys futures at plus 190 to win the NFC East. I know you didn't want to talk about that. I know you didn't want to talk about our Michigan futures at 9-1. So we gave him the night off. We didn't want to beat him up too much, Jimmy. You know what I mean?
We'll save it for next week.
I'm an Eagle guy, but obviously this team, I don't know what happened to them. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. But I do have breaking news though to start the show. The Eagles game against the Giants, which means absolutely nothing to anybody now. That game has been now. They've actually changed that game. It's not going to be on Fox or CBS. It will be shown on MeTV. And the host of the pregame, halftime, and postgame show will be Sven Gooley. So that's how unimportant that game. And remember, you've seen the guy Sven Gooley on MeTV. Didn't they have the Mummers Parade on that the other day? They got the Mummers Parade on some channel nobody can see. So they should put the Eagles on the channel nobody can see. Am I right?
God, I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
No, I said, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team is they're hard to watch. I mean, they've been going. It's like they fell off a cliff. They got an 11-5 record, but their point differential on the season is only at plus 22. They might be one of the worst 11-5 teams in NFL history. And all of a sudden, their odds. I mean, you know, they're. I think they're like the sixth favorite to win the Super Bowl when they were 1 or 2 all season behind San Francisco and Kansas City. And now, you know, their odds fell off a cliff as well. I know. I was talking to 8all the other day, and you said the whole city's depressed. 8all.
Whole city's depressed. Just a bad vibe down here, you know. Nobody's happy. Everyone's walking with their heads down. So, not a good feeling out here.
Yeah.
I came back to the city to see family, my grandkids. I was in New Jersey. I was in Maryland. I was in Delaware. And then I was in the city. And you're right. I mean, Paul is fun. Then everybody got sick. And then the Eagles made everybody even sicker. You're right. I mean, it was doom and gloom. And then the weather, it wasn't cold. But, you know, you had that misty rain falling down. And it was just not a really pleasant time to be in the city. Plus, there was nobody around. I mean, it's like the city it's like a ghost town in Philly right now. And now we got rain coming. So at least Joe Biden will be in Philly tomorrow to tell everybody how we all are bad people because we don't like him or something like that.
At least Mayor Kenny's gone. That's some good.
Well, that's good. Might
be the best news. That's better than a Super Bowl victory, Tom. Right there.
We got one crumb bum out of town at least. The worst crumb bum of them all.
All right, let's get down to business. There's some games on Saturday. Let me go to 8-ball first. 8-ball, Pittsburgh's laying 4 at Baltimore. They're not expecting, I guess, the starters for Baltimore to play, or maybe just the first half. Total's at 35. Do you like a side or a total here?
I like the Ravens here getting the points. I mean, we see this team every preseason. They cover the number. They try to win each and every game, the backups, the starters. Harbaugh always has these guys ready to go. So I think getting over a field goal here is the right way to go.
Let me go to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Matt, do you like a side or a total here?
This one's a little tougher. I mean, obviously Lamar Jackson, he's not playing. Some other guys aren't playing, like Odell Beckham and Zietler, one of their best offensive linemen. But, I mean, Tyler Huntley has shown he can play a little bit. You know, he can move around, run the offense. So, and then even if they switch up with Josh Johnson, who's their third guy, I mean, capable backups. I mean, it's not like Mason Rudolph has proven to be, you know, the best quarterback on the other side. So, I don't know. It's a tough one. I didn't touch it, and I don't think I'm going to. There's some other games, though, that I am interested in.
Sheep, are you hearing anything in Costa Rica, Las Vegas, and the Asian market, Pacific market? You hearing any whispers about this game?
Nothing. It's kind of dry. I mean, if anything, I like the Steelers. I have a slight lean to the Steelers. I mean, this is a nothing game for Baltimore. Why would you even I would have my second and third team in. You don't want to risk no injury or nothing, where Pittsburgh needs to still build on some things for the end of the year. And anyone I talk to has leans towards Pittsburgh.
Let me go to Tony next. Tony, you like a side or a total here?
I mean, everybody likes Baltimore. And the thing about this weekend's games, guys, is a lot of them don't mean anything to a lot of people. So this is going to be one of those crazy weeks where it's almost like watching an exhibition schedule. You know, guys don't want to get hurt. It's like watching the bowl games where all the guys left and they went into the transfer portal, and then people had no idea who the hell was who to bet, who to win, who to play, you know, except you guys, because this is what you do for a living. But all these other, you know, Alabama people and everybody else. Listen, I love Alabama. My oldest son was born there. But Alabama proved that they didn't belong, and Georgia was the team that should have been in there. But enough about the college thing. I know you guys have the lock for the national championship game on Monday night. But we're not. Are we going to deal with that tonight, or are we going to deal with that later?
Yeah, later on in the show, we'll break it down a little bit. I mean, Pittsburgh's giving Baltimore problems when Baltimore was healthy, when Baltimore was playing all their starters. For some reason, Baltimore just can't beat that team. I think they're like 2-6 against them in their last 8. So, if anything, if you want to lay like maybe 1 in the first half, I think Pittsburgh might get you guys some money. Full game, you know, anything over that key number of 3, it's kind of hard to fire on because the backups from Baltimore are pretty solid. And I think Harbaugh, he doesn't want his team losing going into the playoffs. I think they want to carry that momentum over. And he might play some guys longer than most coaches will here. But we're going to go to our next segment, so stay tuned. And we'll be right back with some more legendary NFL action.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Back to the Sports Betting Show. You're listening on Sirius XM Channel 159. You're watching us on Sports Grid TV, JAKIB Media on YouTube, and we're live streaming the show on Twitter at Philly Godfather. We got the usual suspects: Jimmy the Sheep Batista, the 8-ball, Matt Maltepes Philly Rooster is MIA. He's on the back of a milk carton somewhere, but we do have the legend Tony Bruno on with us today. I'm loving it. I don't think he could take the heat, so we gave him a day off, Tony. You know what I mean?
I hear you, man. I'm playing hurt tonight, but I'll be like a lot of players in the NFL this weekend. But I'm gonna count myself as inactive right now. I'll probably be inactive on Sunday, like a lot of players in the NFL. Now, you guys know this as professionals. I mean, is this the hardest week to bet or the easiest week? Because, there's some teams that need it. You mentioned Pittsburgh earlier. They're playing better. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, everybody wanted their coach fired. And now all of a sudden he's guaranteed another winning season. 17 consecutive winning seasons, when a few weeks ago people wanted him out of Pittsburgh. And so that's how crazy it is. So Pittsburgh's playing better. It took them a long time to figure out who the right quarterback was. But the bottom line is, this is a hard week to pick. And so that's why I rely on you guys, because I'm looking at games just like you are, but you guys have the freshest right out of the kitchen, right out of the oven numbers, man. And that's why, the 8 ball with I got to start playing the 8 balls ladder thing, man.
He's killing it. He's killing it, man. Tell we got Dave Mason in the green room from BetOnline AG. Let's bring him on. He's got the freshest numbers offshore. Dave, my man, what's going on in Costa Rica?
All good, man. All good.
We got the legend Tony Bruno on with us today.
Oh, man, that's crazy, man. I've listened to him on the radio up in so many times up in the Northeast, man. So awesome. That's cool stuff, man.
What's the weather like in Costa Rica? It's nicer than Philly, I think, right now, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. It's hot. Summer is here. Our summer's in your winter, so rain season's over, and man, it gets hot. At the beach, it gets hot. Inland,
it's hot. It sure does.
Yeah, inland, up in the mountains and the valleys, it's like perfect weather. But the beaches get hot, man. But
yeah, it was only 72 here in Florida. I'm in Southwest Florida.
Oh, there you go.
Coral, Fort Myers. So I was out with the T-shirt on today, a little bit walking. I've been sick, so I went outside and took a nice long walk and was thinking about all the people in Philly waiting for the big snowstorm, which now apparently it's going to be rain, right? Except up in the Poconos and stuff.
It ain't going to be much. I mean, the Poconos will get hit, but we won't get hit much. But before we start asking Dave a bunch of questions about the sports betting market, Jimmy, as always, I go to you first because you love to interrupt us. If you want to ask Dave any questions this week,
ask him where's Rooster.
Rooster.
Yeah, David, did you see Rooster down there? Because he's
well, I think he tried flying off the Walt Whitman, man. I don't know if roosters can fly or not. But.
I've heard that also. He's in the portal stages.
We got a bunch of roosters down here. Every other person has a rooster in their damn yard. They lay a lot of eggs and make a lot of noise, or maybe they don't lay eggs. Man, I don't know what the hell they do. They make noise, but I never see them fly.
The only legs Philly Rooster lays are golden ones. Man, he's been killing that.
Exactly right, man.
We got to give him a break. All right, let's get down to business. Let's go to Saturday games, Dave. Pittsburgh's, I think they're laying 4 at 35.5 at BetOnline. They're at Baltimore. Which way are the sharps betting it? Which way are the square bettors betting it? And is there any sharp money on the side or total?
Yeah, it's 4, and it actually went down to 34.5. Open 3. Actually, open Ravens 3 somehow. And 43 somehow. 67% of the cash and 74% of the bettors are on Baltimore, even though they're benching a bunch of their guys. And the game means nothing to them, which I'm kind of surprised about that, because usually when these games where it means nothing for one team but everything for the other team, the public's always on that side. But there's still tons of action yet to come in. Sharp, Pittsburgh -2.5 or better, under 37 or more.
Next game on the screen, Houston flip-flop, right? It's up to -1.5 now, 47 at Indy. Which way is the sharp money going? What are the bet percentages, the bet splits, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, Houston -1.5. They opened a small dog. They opened 2 plus 2.5. Its total's 47. That opened 46. Everybody's on the Texans. 73% of the bettors, 81% of the cash is on the Texans. Some sharp on Houston as a dog as well.
Dave, last week of the season, do you see any drop-off in the recreational money coming into the market because there's so much uncertainty with these games?
Yeah. I mean, well, they'll be betting the games that count. But, New York, the Jets versus Patriots, there's not going to be any recreational money on that. Might get, maybe a little bit, right? But but not like it usually would be. Not that a Jets and Patriots would do a ton of action week 15 or 14, but it'll do more than it would in 18, where it just means absolutely nothing. So, but the games that mean a lot, that they see more action, right? So games are going to be off the charts. That Sunday night games will be off the charts.
All right, the next game on the board. I mean, this line to me is kind of short. Rams at San Fran. San Fran's laying 4-41. The Rams are playing some good football. They actually got a better point differential on the season than the Eagles do. Which way is there any sharp money on the side or a total here?
Yeah, open 3 and 44. The cash is 50-50. 56% of the bettors are on LA. Some sharp at -3 for San Francisco.
Okay, next game up. This is for the AFC East title. Buffalo's laying 3 at Miami. I know Miami's a little banged up. Total's 49. Is there any sharp money on the side or a total here?
Yeah, we got 3 and an over/under of 48.5. Open Miami 1.5 and 48. 59% of the bettors are on Buffalo. 62% of the cash is on the Fins. Some sharp on Buffalo as well, -1 and a little bit on over 48.
Next game up. I mean, can the Eagles lose another game here to the Giants? They're in New York, so it's a tough game. The line's only 42. Is anyone sharp betting the Eagles here, Dave?
No, you know the answer to that. Yeah, we're 5 and 42
every week.
Every week, right? Open Birds 6.5 and 46.5. 54% of the bettors and 64% of the cash is on the Giants. A little bit of sharp on New York +6.5.
Next game up. This game is huge for the Jaguars. They're laying 3.5, total 40 at Tennessee. Is that what you guys are using at BetOnline AG?
We got 3.5 and 41 open. Jags 3 and 40.5. 68% of the cash. 64% of the bettors are on the Titans. That surprises me a bit. Sharp Jags -3 and Titans +4.5 over 40.
All right, last but not least, the college football championship. We got Washington versus Michigan. I know the game opened up 3.5, 4 at some spots. I've seen it go as high as 5.5. Now it's back down to 4.5, and the total's at 56 at BetOnline.
Yeah, we're at 44.5 and 56.5. We're going to need Michigan. I mean, we already need them huge on the futures. Michigan's a humongous win for us, whereas Washington is a very big loss for us, and we'll probably need them on the game as well, or the Michigan on the game as well. 69% of the bettors, 59% of the cash is on the Huskies, but also the money line too. It's about 50-50. So, the Huskies at plus money is going to be a big payout. So we're going to need Michigan every which way. Sharp, nothing on the spread yet. Michigan -182 or better on the money line, and a little bit on over 55.5.
Dave, I mean, you've been doing this a long time. Are you surprised Washington's getting all that public money? I mean, Michigan just beat Alabama. That's kind of surprising to me.
A little bit, yeah. I don't know. I think just they're a high scoring team, right? And the public loves those high scoring teams. I mean, you're talking about the Michigan's that defensive team, and Washington's as Penix and that high scoring. So I think that always kind of is in the back of the mind of the more the public bettors, right? Where they just see those points going on the board and that high flying video game out there. So I think that has something to going into it. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, because Michigan just did, doing what they do. But Washington too. I mean, they're cashing tickets. No one gave them a chance against
money.
Oregon.
They're making money.
Yeah.
All right, we got 20 seconds left in the segment. Dave, let everyone know where to find you. If you got any promo codes going on at BetOnline.ag.
Yeah, on Twitter at Dave Mason, BOL. Head on over to betonline.ag for all the games this weekend. We got the earliest opening odds for NFL. Bonus codes, go over to the promos page. We got all sorts of welcome bonuses and reload bonuses. BetOnline.ag.
There you go. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
All right, guys.
We'll see you
Take
next
care,
week.
fellas.
See you, Dave.
Beautiful, man.
Later,
Watch
fellas.
the Roosters on the road.
Yeah,
down
man.
there.
We'll
Watch
be
the
right
Roosters.
back.
Laying
Don't go nowhere,
eggs.
guys. We'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com. We got the usual suspects on the show, and we got the legend Tony Bruno joining us. As we're waiting for Pro Football Doc to jump on and give out all the injury reports around the NFL this week, I want everyone listening to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. Tone, man, you hear Dave Mason come on and talks about the sharp money and the public money. Do you pay attention to that a lot when you're looking to place a wager?
Absolutely. I mean, that's where you rely on, because that's where you want to see. And you taught me a long time ago, Steve, that it's all about the sharps against the squares and the marbles and all the other stuff. So, I mean, you guys have this all nailed down. And so now that I'm not as into it as I used to be, where, now that I have legal gambling here and I could bet in Florida, I've gotten more involved, but I had to wait like 6 weeks into the season. So I would make my picks. I should have gone to Bet Online AG, but then I was a little concerned. Not that I'm worried about getting my money from Costa Rica. I've been to Costa Rica and I have seen the roosters all over the place, and it's a beautiful place. But it's a little dangerous too. If you don't go out at night in Costa Rica, it's like being in Philly and going on SEPTA. You don't want to take their chances in Philly riding on a SEPTA.
Let me tell you something, Todd. You don't want to go to the New York subway either. Those two trains collide. Things are getting crazy, but we do have Pro Football Doc in the green room. Joe, bring him on, man. Bring him on.
Hello there.
There he is. There he is.
Doc, how you doing, man? We got the legend Tony Bruno on with us tonight.
All right.
How's everything going out there, Doc? Good?
Doing well. Obviously a very interesting week, right? Lots going on this week. And in some ways, just so that you know, if you look at the field views and the six scores, we treat players that are sitting like they would be if they were suspended. So they show up red, and the starting quarterback and the backups grades, health grade is in there, etc. So we treat it like Jair Alexander was suspended last week, or whatever. Whoever's not playing. Patrick Mahomes is not starting, and Blaine Gabbert and Brock Purdy, you name it. But maybe the field views is a way for your followers and listeners to kind of keep track quickly who really is in or out, at least announced that way.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your website. I love when Dave Mason comes on, he gives us the bet splits, then you come on and you give us all the injury information, and they're just different pieces of the puzzle when you're looking to handicap these games, and your guaranteed picks have gone, 7-2 over the last picks. So these injury picks have been killing it at SICScore.com, and if you sign up and use promo code Godfather, they're going to hook you up over there. But let's get right down to business, Doc. You got the Ravens against Pittsburgh Saturday. Which team is the healthiest? Which team is sitting more players? Obviously, it's probably going to be Baltimore. But what do you say?
Yeah, well, of course, there's going to be a lot of players sitting, but even with the Ravens players out, their health score is still not bad compared to Pittsburgh. So, is it really and they're getting 4? I mean, you got to look. It's a very hard week to handicap, right? I mean, who's playing? What does it mean? Who's sitting, etc., and effort on certain teams. But in terms of the health mismatches, in terms of what's happening, there's some value on the Ravens getting points here.
I mean, the way they've been beating teams up, I think that even with guys sitting, they're dangerous. Let me go to 8-Ball. 8-Ball, you got a question for Pro Football Doc?
Yeah, wondering about the status of Cowboys guard Tyler Smith.
Well, Tyler Smith is likely going to miss this week. He completely tore the plantar fascia. The good news is that puts a definite end to the plantar fasciitis problems, but that definite end is a couple weeks away. The good news is that it will get better. The bad news is it actually gets worse and more sore before it gets better. It's a little bit of a long shot to play, even with an injection this week. And given the Week 18 status and the Cowboys are in the playoffs, they're probably looking at next week.
Yeah, and they're big favorites, a 13-point favorite, so I don't see him playing. Matt Maltepes from the college kids. Matt, you got a question for Pro Football Doc?
I do, Doc. So Miami is a little banged up. If they do win this week, going into the playoffs, how healthy will that team be, especially that offensive line?
Well, look, early on, even right after the game, as soon as the lines popped in, we saw Buffalo at 2.5. We said there's some value there because we knew that Bradley Chubb's ACL was going to be torn. And obviously Jalen Phillips is already out. And now that Bradley Chubb news is announced, the line's 3. So it wasn't a huge line move, but still a little bit. But you're right. The guards, both guards in the center from Miami are still out. Tyreek Hill, when he went to his home with the fire, and glad everyone's okay, he was in a walking boot on his left ankle, right, for that high ankle that's still there. And Jalen Waddle is a little bit questionable still with his left ankle. Mostert, is he going to play or not? Don't know. They may give it to H.A. and this week as well. So Miami definitely has more injury issues than Buffalo. Buffalo's getting healthier a little bit at the right time.
Jimmy, you got any questions for Pro Football Doc about a game, about which team's more healthier?
Eagles. Anyone injured with that game? Will they sit or they play or?
Well, it's a little bit to be determined yet, but obviously, they've had their middle linebacker issues all season long, and we've been saying talking about the middle linebacker issues. And Jonathan Gannon comes in last week and puts 200 plus rushing yards on him, based on some of the linebackers, and they get a win. The Eagles, it remains to be determined. That's one that's kind of weird, right? It's a divisional matchup. It's Giants, it's Eagles. Who's going to sit? Who's going to play? We're still in a little bit of flux on that. So right now, technically, the Eagles are the healthier side, and they're -5. They are the healthier side, but we're following that along right now.
What's going on with Devontae Smith, Doc?
Yeah, that's what
Devontae Smith, I guess that's why George Pickens said, I don't want to block. Devontae Smith was engaged in a block downfield, got rolled up on. He's got a high ankle sprain. And the type of player that he is for the Eagles, he's not A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a different receiver. Do not see Devontae Smith playing this week.
He'll be out. Okay.
Yeah.
Tone, you got any questions for Pro Football Doc while you're on here?
The interesting thing is, and you look, the Eagles were so dominant early in the year, and then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, Devontae Smith is out there blocking. 170-pound wide receiver is blocking against a couple of guys. But the Giants, to me, when you look at them on the field talent-wise, and they've got some injury, Tyrod Taylor and these guys, they're throwing the ball downfield. I think the Giants are a live dog in this game because the Eagles, really, it doesn't matter what happens to them now. I mean, nobody's going to. Yeah,
it doesn't matter what happens to them. And, if James Conner and company can put all those yards on the Eagles, what about Saquon?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's a dangerous game for Philly here. All right, let's go to the next game on the board. Houston at Indy. Which team is the healthier team going into this matchup on Saturday, Doc?
Well, who would have thought that this would be it's a play-in game, right? With a chance to win the division, but it's a play-in game. C.J. Stroud, healthy, which is good. Good for the Texans. And Pittman is back off his concussion. Our injury scores are about even. They favor Houston a little bit.
All right, next game up, the Rams at San Fran. Rams playing some pretty good football. They actually got a better point differential than the Eagles do on the season. And they're 4-point dogs at San Fran. Which team is the healthier team here?
Well, when you factor in all the sit-outs, San Francisco lines up as the healthier team. Factoring all the sit-outs. We know Matthew Stafford is out, so is Brock Purdy. We know Cooper Kupp. We know a lot of people are out. But when you factor that in, one thing that's interesting here is I think the fans, you guys know differently. Fans think, oh, you're going to sit everybody here. You can't sit everybody. You only have 53 guys on the squad and 46 that have to be active. It's not like you can sit 5 guys on your offensive line. That would take up all your inactive spots. Yes, there are some practice squad call-ups, but you kind of have to make a decision on injuries versus vets, et cetera. We know Christian McCaffrey is going to sit. That makes sense because calf injuries can linger, and there's no reason for them to make it worse in a meaningless Week 18 when they have a bye week next week in the first round of the playoffs. And so McCaffrey's going to play again in 3 weeks' time.
What's Trent Williams' status? I know he had a groin injury a couple weeks ago. Is he getting on that more on the healthier side here going to the playoffs?
He's getting healthier. If they had the roster spots to sit, I think he would sit, but I'm not sure that they do. He might be active, but as a non-starter. He might be a, quote, Russell Wilson active, if you know what I mean. Active, but not starting the game, and see what happens.
That type of injury, does it linger a little bit? You got to be really careful with it.
It can linger some, but here's the thing. Trent Williams is so much better than everyone else. It'll affect him less, but also, he's not a speed guy out on the edge. He plays more in a box. The groin can bother him, but it won't affect him more than a player out in space.
All right, the next game, Trevor Lawrence is trending like he's going to play against Tennessee, which is the more banged-up team going into this matchup, and this is a big game for Jacksonville.
Yeah, look, I said last week I thought Trevor Lawrence would make the bell, but it would have been an injection into the AC joint of his throwing shoulder. So this week, I'm doubling down again. I do think he's going to go and play. Will Levis, on the other hand, probably will sit. Look, he had the left high ankle sprain, and maybe related, maybe not related. He's got a right foot injury, doesn't have a good leg to stand on now. I think the Titans put him in bubble wrap for this final week to ensure that they can have a healthy off season with him. So, but I do think Trevor Lawrence will play. Christian Kirk, I think if he plays, it's just as a decoy. He's not quite ready yet to come off of IR, at least effectively, but at least he's getting closer.
All right, Doc, I want to appreciate you coming on. If you want to let everyone know where to find you on social media and all about your website real quick.
Social media, Pro Football Doc, at Pro Football Doc, also at Six Score, SIC Score. And the website is sicscore.com, Sports Injury Central. And don't forget, we got basketball too, so lots going on.
Great stuff, Doc. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, Doc.
Awesome.
He's one of the best
in the Tennessee game, guys, in that Titans game against the Jaguars, their coach is really, really pissed off. I don't know if you saw some of the comments he made. He is angry. He is angry at the way they played. He's angry at what looks like it could be another disastrous season for them. And so I think the
offensive line has been so bad they've given up the third sacks on the season. But we got 4 seconds left. Tone, hold that thought, and we'll be right back for our next segment.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and this is the NFL edition. Dave Mason from BetOnline. I want to thank him for coming on. Pro Football Doc from SICScore.com, and we got the legend Tony Bruno on with us, breaking down the football games. And we also have John Grace in the green room live from Las Vegas, Joe, if you want to bring him in.
What's going on, guys?
My
Hey, John.
man, what's going
What's
on?
up,
You ready
John?
for the Super Bowl?
I'm ready, man. We got 3-4 weeks away from the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. A lot of the parties starting to get announced, and things are starting to ramp up out here.
I got my hotel reservations already. Everything's right there. I just I got my credentials from the NFL announced, and they got great rooms at the Luxor if you're in the media. Right there, everything's right close, and they're all MGM properties, so that's pretty good too.
Yep, and then you walk across, the whole bridge will be shut down for you to walk across the stadium. It's going to be a great environment, man. I can't wait.
Is it starting to pop out there with the college football championship? Do you see a lot more people coming into town?
Yeah, I mean, the CES is this upcoming week. That's one of the biggest conferences out here, the tech conference. New Year's was huge. I had a really big weekend. It was over 400,000 people here.
Wow.
Strip was completely packed with people. Fontainebleau just opened up, new hotel. I mean, Vegas is booming right now. It's going to be a great year.
Hey, don't forget the AVN Awards. Aren't those the same weekend as the CES show?
Yeah.
That's the can't miss me. I would always come to Vegas to say I was going to the Consumer Electronics Show, but I really was there for the AVN, the Adult Video News Award show. Come on, man.
All right, let's try to give that some. Let me go to 8-ball first. 8-ball. Houston's laying 1.5 out of Indy. I think Houston's the better team here. Indy's been feisty all season. The coach has done one hell of a job. That Magic Minshew, man, I mean, he's doing it. Who do you like in this matchup, people?
I haven't picked a side here. Houston has, rookie quarterback. He's been electric, but the Colts have really impressed me. I mean, Minshew's playing great football right now. The offense is scoring every week, so it's a tough game. Indy's at home. I haven't made a decision yet, but I'm leaning towards Indy just a little bit.
Wow, Matt Maltepes from the college kids. You like anyone in that matchup?
So in this game, I was originally leaning Indy, but Indy does have 3 offensive linemen that are questionable. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Braden Smith, all really, really good guys on their offensive line. And Houston actually has some injuries on their D-line. They have 3 guys that are questionable, another guy that's out. So last game, we look at the last game. I think it was the second week of the season. These teams were pretty much even in the box score. Houston had a fumble that led to an easy touchdown for Indy, and they also missed a field goal. So that 11-point swings totally back to almost an even game. So if there are still injuries come game time with this Indy offensive line, I might have to go Houston, but it all depends.
We go to Jimmy. Jimmy, you hearing any whispers offshore, Vegas?
Colts.
Colts, the dog.
Colts. When it's all said and done, the money will come in on the Colts.
Tony, you like anybody in this matchup?
This game is really a toss-up. I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, C.J. Stroud, let's be honest, the guy's the best young quarterback in the league right now, and he's showing it every week. But the Colts are feisty at home, and so this is a tough game. I don't even know. Is the total worth betting? Because we know Jonathan Taylor is going to score because he's going to play, right? Jonathan Taylor is a guaranteed touchdown scorer every time. Christian McCaffrey, I thought, was the same thing, but every time I bet him, he doesn't score. And so that's why I'm staying away from the Niners game.
Yeah, they hit you with big odds with McCaffrey, so if he doesn't score, you get killed a little bit,
Exactly.
Yeah, let me go to John Grace. John, you like anyone in this matchup?
Yeah, I lean Indy. I think the public side is going to be Houston with C.J. Stroud. I mean, it is a very short line, hovering around a pick. So, I mean, it is a toss-up. I really got no big opinion on each side, but if I were to lean, I'd go Indianapolis.
Yeah, I like the Texans here. I think they're the better team overall, top to bottom on the roster. They got the better quarterback. If you look at their net yards per play, Texans coming 11th. Indy comes in like 17th. And down the stretch since week 10, the Texans' defense is 12th in opponent EPA per play, while Indy's like 20th or 21st. Their defense is playing better. Their offense is better. They got the better quarterback. And, they've done a nice job, Indy, masking some of their inefficiencies this season and playing some pretty good football. But down the stretch, they're only 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 games, so they're underperforming in the market. I think you pencil in the Texans here. I like them on the money line, so I'm taking the Texans. I'm going against you guys in that one. But, they still got to play the game. All right, let's go to the next game on the board. You got the Rams at San Francisco. Let me go to 8-ball first. You like anyone in this matchup? I think where are the Rams getting, 4-41?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't love the Rams here getting 4 in a division game. Niners already locked at the 1 seed, so I don't think they're going to be, playing any great players, and Rams are playing great football right now, so I think they keep it moving and cover that 4.
Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. You like anybody in that game?
So, yeah, I'm with 8-Ball here. I mean, I think you got to like the Rams, 49ers. They're resting some people probably. So, yeah, I got to lean Rams here, especially on that number.
Jimmy, you hearing anything?
Dog. It's all Rams. The only thing that's going to get me off the game if El Clucko's on them, and then I'm going to have to.
No, wait, time out. You keep bashing, but Bruce is one of the sharpest guys out there. He taught me so much over the years. And even though he didn't want to take our Dallas Cowboys futures this year, that made everyone a ton of money. He didn't want to bet them each and every week, and they've covered the spread almost 60% of the time. He didn't want to bet them to win the NFC East. He didn't want to bet them to win the NFC Conference. And the Cowboys are really one Trent Williams injury away from penciling them into the Super Bowl, because now they're going to be at home throughout the playoffs, and all anyone ever talked about was the Cowboys are going to have to go on the road. They can't win on the road. Well, guess what? They're not going on the road. They just got to get to the championship game, and then, whatever happens, happens. But let me go to John Grace real quick. John, you like anyone in that matchup?
To be honest with you, I think the NFL is going to find somehow, some way to get that Rams-Lions matchup. It's either the Rams win or the Bears win against Green Bay. Those are the only scenarios to get that matchup. But Carson Wentz starting here, got to be backups on both sides. I mean, I'd love to see the Rams build some momentum going into the playoffs, but it's tough when so many people are going to be sitting out. But Rams are playing the Lions in the wild card. It's got to happen.
Tony, are you looking to invest some money in Carson Wentz?
Well, the guy, without Carson Wentz, the Eagles don't even get to the Super Bowl the year the only one they won. And obviously Nick Foles came in and finished it off. But, Carson Wentz is one of those guys. He can go out there and make some plays. But, again, this is an exhibition game. And I think the Rams are the better team. Are they going to play a lot of their stars? No, but I think they'll play enough stars to beat the 49ers, who will be resting more people looking ahead. So I think the Rams are the play here. And I'm not going to bet the house on it. I'm not going to bet my boat on it. But I'll sprinkle this one in there.
Would you kiss up the money line a little bit? Would you put a little baby peanuts on the money line here on the Rams?
I'll put baby peanuts on the money line. It's only like the line's like minus 110. It's almost like even money. It's juice, right? You're basically laying the juice here.
Yeah. All right, let me go to 8-Ball next. 8-Ball, you got futures on Miami, a little banged up going into this game. Buffalo's catching some fire here. AFC East title, Buffalo's laying 3 and 49. You like anybody in this matchup?
Miami's hurt everywhere. You got to take Buffalo. I mean, Tyreek Hill's in the walking boot. Waddle's questionable. Their O-line's messed up. Chubb's hurt. Right now, you just got to take Buffalo here. I think Buffalo takes this game.
Yeah, let me go to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Matt, do you agree with him?
Yeah, if Miami was healthy, it might be a different story. But as of right now, got to lean Buffalo. They're the healthier team. Miami is just so banged up. Tyreek Hill, Mostert, Waddle, their O-line. 4 people on their O-line are questionable. And then even on the defensive side, you had David Long, Duke Riley, Xavier Howard, all these different guys that are hurt. And Buffalo, they're pretty much – they're on a roll. They've won 4 straight, and – it's just so hard to not bet Buffalo here. I think they also have a better point differential as well. So, yeah, I'm liking Buffalo here.
Do you bet the first half full game? Do you bet them to win the AFC East at minus 150 or 55, whatever it is? Do you just bet Buffalo every way you can bet them in this game?
I didn't bet them every which way. I only bet them on the spread here, a full game. But if you are loving it, you talked about this many times, and you think it's a burial, you try to bet it each and every way you can and get down as much money as possible if you are going to bury the game.
Yeah, and this is one of those games that you can tease through 0 if you really think Buffalo has a huge edge, and the cluster of injuries on the Miami side isn't going to even leave this game close, even though they are playing in Miami. You can tease through that 0. I tell people all the time, if you got a burial that you love, you bet it every which way you can. Sheep, you like anyone in this matchup?
I'm all over Buffalo. And I got to give some kudos to our Crazy Chicken, because he does have Buffalo 40-1, and he brought that up a few weeks ago. So I don't give him kudos much, but El Clucko does have Buffalo, and I love Buffalo this weekend. I think they're the scariest team in the AFC right now, besides Baltimore.
Yeah, they got one of the best point differentials on the season. They lost so many close games this year by 1 score or less. You knew that, it was like the opposite of the Eagles. The Eagles were winning all these close games, and you knew they weren't that good. And Buffalo was losing all these close games, and you knew they were better than what they appeared to be. So that was a great bet by Rooster. Let me go to Tony. Tony, you like anyone in this matchup?
Yeah, this is a championship game for the Miami Dolphins and their fans. And once again, I have a lot of friends in Miami and here in Southwest Florida. This is one of the hottest tickets in sports. This $1,000 to get into this game. People are coming down from Buffalo, obviously, to get the hell out of the weather. But they're going to come down to Miami, and it will be a Buffalo Bills home game, sort of like the Chargers. You know, when the Chargers play at home, all the other fans are there. And I think Miami, there's so many fans trying to get in, but I think Buffalo is ready. And this is the afternoon game on Saturday. Actually, it's the night game, right? It's the 8:20 game on Sunday night. It's a Sunday night game. They'll be juiced in Miami. You know, all the thongs will be out there, and you should see what the girls are wearing. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable on South Beach, baby. It's going to be unbelievable. Come on, Matt. That was pretty funny, man.
I was paying attention to some numbers real quick.
I was too. 24, 36, 24, 36. Those are the numbers I have right now. Parlay those babies. You know what they say? Lock them in. Lock them in, Steve.
Let me go to John Grace. Is this going to be a blowout, John? Is Buffalo going to
Look, man, I'm not giving up on the Dolphins. I'm riding Dolphins here. And you know what else I'm riding? I'm riding the scenario where the Dolphins knock the Bills out of the playoffs. If the Pittsburgh Steelers win against Baltimore, the Jacksonville Jaguars win against Tennessee, and the Dolphins win, the Bills are out of the playoffs, and the Dolphins are the number 2 seed. So that parlay, just money line, plus 430. I think it's going to be a gritty game. Dolphins, yes, they're injured. Definitely Chubb is a huge, massive loss. It's kind of why they signed Melvin Ingram to give him some more depth there. They're also getting some people back on the line. Robert Hunt, the big guard's coming back. Teron Armstead just came back. I think he's just as important to the Dolphins as Trent Williams is to San Francisco. I think it's going to be a gritty game. We've seen how resilient this Dolphins team can be after big losses against Tennessee, bouncing back against the Jets, and nobody's going to be on them, and I'm sure the liability for the Bills is through the roof across the board with all these books. So I'm sure they'd like to
you can actually grab plus 450 on the Bills not making the playoffs. So I don't know. A lot of things have to happen for that to happen. I mean, and there's been so many, there's some distraction here with Tyreek Hill. His house burnt down. He's in a boot. Man, that's a tough one to pull the trigger on. All right, let's go to the last game on the board. 8-ball Jags at Tennessee. Jags got to win this game. Who do you like here? Laying 3.5.
I like the Jags here. I think Doug Peterson's going to have these guys ready. Trevor Lawrence being back in the lineup should get the guys ready to play. So I definitely love the Jags here to punch their ticket to the playoffs. All right, I want everyone watching and listening to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you guys check them out. I kind of like the Jags here, too. I bet them in the first half, minus 2.5. I think they get the job done. I want everyone to stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheOceanAC.com.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from TheEight8all.com. And usually at this time we end up with the Rooster recap, but he's on the back of a milk carton this week. But he did text me. He wants you guys to know he loves the Commanders this week, plus 13. He loves the Rams. He loves the Raiders. I think he said
Detroit.
Detroit Lions. They're the 4 teams that he likes this week. So that's his games. 8-ball college football championship. Let's wrap it up with that because we only got about 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes left in the segment. I mean, are you taking the 4.5 or are you laying the 4.5 with Michigan here?
I'm laying the 4.5 with Michigan.
You like them that much, huh?
Sir.
You like the total at all? Over 56, under 56?
Nah, just a side on this one.
Then we go to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Matt, who do you like in this matchup?
I like Michigan. I laid the 4. If you want to lay the 4.5, lay the 4.5 as well. They, look at Washington. They haven't versed defense like this all year. Michigan ranks number 3 in opponent passer rating. It's much better than Texas. Texas ranked 41st. And they're top 10 defense in every single category. And all Washington does is put the ball through the air with Michael Penix. When you put the ball through the air, you're more liable to turn it over, especially against a defense like this, of this caliber, while Michigan runs the ball, less likely for any mistakes or turnovers. So I like Michigan a lot. Michigan -4.
Sheep, like anybody in this matchup?
I like the Wolverines this week.
Tony Bruno, big game.
I like Michigan for one reason, because I know if Michigan wins and covers, I was retweeting the Philly Godfather, and he may send me some cash for following along and jumping on his bandwagon.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Plus, they got the best fight song in all of college sports. Am I wrong? The Michigan fight song is the best fight song in all of college sports.
We got 20 seconds, John Grace. Who you liking this game, man?
I got Michigan futures, so I'm not going to take the spread. I might go for the middle and take Washington points or tease it with the over, but yeah, all big blue.
I like Michigan here, money line, and I think JJ has a monster game. If you want to go over 195.5 passing yards as a prop, I think he likes that Washington defense. Washington hasn't played a team with this type of pass rush all season. Best pass rush they played all year was Oregon State. They were ranked 22nd. Michigan's ranked 6th, and they barely beat Oregon State 22-20. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next week, man. Love you guys.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.